are again. Sugar Ray Nosty Studios, Triple R Studios, and the great man is sitting next to me on my right.
Thank you, Dawsey. Thank you, buddy.
And once again, down the far end of the table, we've got Mike Big Roy Whitney.
How's that?
How's that?
Happy days. Good to see you, Dawsey. Achmundo, how are you?
Oh, man, I feel really good, mate.
You should be.
Especially about who we've got opposite me.
Well, I'm feeling good about it too.
I can't wait to tackle him tonight.
We'll throw to you, Wits, again. You do the intro, and yeah, we've got a legend on our hands here.
Thank you, Dawes. Now, besides being a legend, because I've known this bloke now for a couple of years, pretty humble fella. He don't like talking about himself. How the fuck we've got him on the podcast?
How long is this going to go for?
But we love him, and look, with all due respect, one of the greatest of all time in the rugby league world. I was pretty much playing cricket when this fella was playing football, and he didn't play for the Rabbitohs, so I couldn't barrack for him, but he left me in awe many, many times. With the nickname of the Guru, please welcome the great Eric Grothe. Yeah.
Hey, guys, thank you so much for having me.
That's all right. We were really desperate and we couldn't.
Yeah, I thought that.
Yes. So, Liverpool boy.
Yes. Yeah,
So, what was it like growing up on the mean streets of Liverpool back in the day?
Mate, I was originally known as the long-haired lover from Liverpool. You wouldn't believe that. Looking at me now.
No, I do.
But, it was a tough place. I went to Liverpool Boys High, and I had nothing to do with the toughness, of course. I ran away from all that sort of stuff.
Was there blues every day at school and stuff like that?
Yeah, there was some tough heads.
Was there gangs? And
Was it co-ed?
No, not gangs.
Was it girls?
No, with
Just
the
the
boys and the girls were right next to it, but we weren't.
So you had to climb the
Intermingle.
fence.
How good's that?
We saw them playing in the playground at lunchtime. You could,
I believe Geoff Gerard went there as well.
yeah, Geoff Gerard, the
Another legend.
Solkowitz brothers, Ted and Eddie Solkowitz.
They were good players, weren't
Yeah,
they? The
great
Solkowitz players.
None of them won a grand final, did they?
I don't know, did they?
Geoff Gerard was in 4, wasn't he? He was in about 4.
That's right.
And he's
Yeah,
lost
no,
them all.
they missed out. Yeah, in
Yeah.
'79, that's right.
Yeah,
They got beat
yeah.
by St.
So
George.
I want to ask you about the Solkowitz brothers. Was Ted Edward and Ed was Edward, but they called Edward Ted and Ed?
Wow.
That's a hard
Because
one.
Ted is a shortening of Edward, isn't it? So how can you have Ted and Ed? Solkowitz.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know. We just knew
Theodore
Ed-
for Teddy.
Yeah, Theodore. There you
Theodore
go.
for Teddy.
Oh, really?
And Ed might be Edward.
Edwardian for Edward. Yeah,
Edward.
Eddie.
Ed, not Edwardian. Ed. That's a time in
Sorry, man, I'm a
space.
bit nervous.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
knew them as Ed and Ted. Yeah,
But they were great footballers,
They were
weren't
great players, yeah,
And Geoff
absolutely.
Gerard, a legend too.
Yeah, he's a great.
He a tough
forward,
rooster,
yeah.
wasn't he?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I believe you started out playing soccer as a young kid before you played league. Is that correct? Or?
Yeah, it was. I was 8. Yeah, played for Mount Pritchard Community Club in soccer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you going at soccer too, or were you good?
Nah, I was ordinary, mate. Yeah,
Why would you go and play soccer, Gug? Because it wouldn't have been a big game.
No tackling.
Not as big as today.
You didn't have
It's
to
quite
tackle.
big in Australia.
Easy.
Yeah, I don't
Or
know.
was that your dad,
I can't
or-
remember whether my mum and
Mum or
dad,
dad, yeah.
took me or whatever, or why, or I wanted to. I can't remember. Put my hand up for it, but yeah, it just happened, and I played for a couple of years, and then went to rugby league.
Was it because your parents are German? Was that maybe the soccer influence through them?
Maybe
they thought.
yeah, maybe. Well, my dad was a mountain climber, so I don't know where
Wow.
he didn't get me on the mountains at all.
Oh, right.
Should have got me up in the mountains somewhere. But
Did he do that when he was out in Australia as well, or just
No,
back
no,
in-
just back in
in
the day.
Germany.
Yeah.
Your old man was a mountain climber in
Fantastic.
Germany when he was growing up, in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
German Alps.
Yep.
Gutsy effort, that.
Oh, absolutely. He had good legs on him.
Did he talk much about that?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. He had nothing. He didn't. It wasn't Everest or anything like that. But yeah,
he'd go up,
some
yeah.
scary stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take
Did
it
he have
back.
an accent? Your dad, he must have.
Yeah, he did.
And your mum, Aussie?
Yeah, no, both
Yeah.
German.
Both German, yeah. And she had an accent too?
Yeah, quite thick.
And was there a lot of German spoken at home when you were growing up?
Yeah, they did. I was thinking about this the other day. When they would have a fluid conversation, I could understand exactly after about 10, 12 years of hearing it or whatever, being that age, I could understand fluently. Because I heard some German on the, I was watching a Netflix or whatever, and someone was talking, but it was a different slang But yeah, I could understand Mum and Dad clearly, but that I couldn't understand. It was like a different thing altogether.
Did you ever try to speak it yourself or learn it yourself?
A little bit. I didn't learn it just from what I learned.
Yeah, yeah.
What about the swear words? I used to learn all the Italian swear words.
Yeah, Italian. I knew more Italian swear words.
Yeah, what about fuck? Is that the same in Germany or is it fuck?
I think it's fick or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a strange
fick
one.
you.
Fick you.
Yeah, it hasn't got the same.
No.
No, it hasn't got the punch in it as fick, has it?
But have you been back to Germany to see the Rellos over the years?
Yeah. Mum took me back when I was 8.
Yep.
And went. It was for 3 months.
Okay.
It was great.
See, that's what happened. You went over there. All the rellos said, when you go back, he plays soccer, right?
It could have been absolutely.
Not that rugby league.
I remember coming off the plane too when we got back to Sydney, and I saw my brother, and I went over there and cuddled him and that, and he started talking, and I couldn't understand.
Wow.
I spoke to him in German, and it just came out.
Man.
Yeah, because
Wow.
I was there for 3 months, and it just sort of got into me. And then when he was talking Aussie, I said, "What's this?" That's quite strange, and it took me a few hours to get back into that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was quite. Yeah,
So was the wall down by then? Were you in East German?
No,
No,
it wasn't down
West.
there.
West.
Yeah.
Yeah, in West Germany. You wouldn't be in West Germany.
Whereabouts in East
Mum was from sort of a little town south of Munich.
Okay.
And Dad was Frankfurt.
Fantastic.
Can I ask you this? Sorry.
There you go. No, I was just going to say good beer in Germany. Just had
Very
to
good
check.
beer in
And
Germany.
the biggest glasses in the world.
Yeah, that's right. What about them Schürrles that come out with like 5 in each hand?
Unreal.
And they
They're
just
just,
bump you out the way. I've been
And they've got
into-
the big boobs too.
They
eh?
have,
And
mate.
they've
They've
got
sort of
to really
half rest
try.
them there. I've been into a beer hall in Munich and that. And if you're in the way, boom, out the way. But I wanted to ask you this. When did your parents come out to Australia? After the war?
Yes.
And how was that being German immigrants to Australia after that war?
Yeah, I had a conversation with Mum towards the end of her life, and it was we never really spoke about it. But I asked her the question of what it was like, you know. And she went into detail that she never did before, and it blew me away because to come into a different country and I mean,
And the Germans were the bad guys, mate.
yeah, 100%,
That's it.
100%.
Really bad guys, yeah.
They ran away from it.
Yeah.
And Dad, as soon as they got here, Dad was taken to the Snowy Mountain scheme thing.
Wow.
And then Mum was at Villawood.
Detention? Well, it wasn't detention. Then
No,
it was
not that stage, but
like
they
an
just said-
immigrant centre, yeah.
So they all stayed there, and
So how long was your dad down there?
for about 4 or 5 years or so.
Oh, because there was a lot of immigrants went down there to work on that scheme. You know,
yes.
there was Italians, Greeks, everybody, Serbians,
Yeah,
Germans,
the whole
everybody.
lot. Yeah, 100%.
Wow. That's a story in itself, isn't it?
It is. It's amazing, and to come to a foreign land and you can't speak the language, it's a pretty amazing.
And then
thing.
they say, well, but you, Dad, you're going down there for 5 years. Did he come? How often could he come back to see us?
say every few months or whatever. Yeah.
Wow. That must have been difficult. Really
Yeah,
tough.
100%.
And on to the greatest game of all, rugby league. I've got in my notes here, age of 10 years old is when you converted to the best game.
Yes. Yep.
And so, yeah, how did you enjoy? As soon as you picked up the footy ball, were you?
Did you get it?
Yeah.
They didn't pay you then, did they? When you were that young?
Pie and chips after the game.
That's still payment.
Yeah, if you score a try, you get a can of Coke as well. They're moments that I wish I remembered, but
It's too long ago. So, but East Mount Pritchard was your junior footy side, right?
Yep.
And you played alongside another legend, Steve Ella, as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
zip.
When I was playing soccer, I got asked to play for Mount Pritchard, the rugby league, and Steve Ella was in that particular team. So we played together when we were 10.
Did someone see you playing soccer and thought he's got a bit of toe, this bloke, he can run?
Yeah, that I don't know again. I have no idea. I'm not sure how trend.
Because Zip had a bit of toe, didn't he?
Yeah, he was amazing. Zip was a lot bigger than what he ended up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd done both knees, but the first knee he got infections, and he done every ligament in his knee, and that was in 1980 against Manly. Big Steve Knight fell on him.
Yep.
And it just
Right.
crumbled underneath him, and he had every ligament was gone, but he got a couple of infections in the hospital, and it reduced his size. He was quite big, and he became sort of small, you know.
Wow.
But he was amazing.
Oh, his hands and his name's Ella.
Yeah,
what
yeah,
can
well,
you
know, the
say?
other
He had
guys,
that in
yeah,
him, mate.
The other guys were
Amazing.
So the junior footy club, East Mount Pritchard, I believe the colours were red and white. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. Yes.
Not the drag. Oh,
Whoa. go.
North Ryde Hawks. That's why, eh?
Oh, really? That's
Yeah,
same
the North
colour.
Ryde Hawks, yeah.
So,
all red with white V, not
Yeah.
the other way around.
so you were a St George fan growing up as a
I
kid
was, yeah.
because of that?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Wow, so that was...
Hawks.
What era was that? That's the 70s you're talking about, or
Yep.
late 60s, 70s?
70s, that was guys like...
Is that the
Wow.
Starkey and Stone age?
No, that was before that.
Oh.
Billy Smith, Graham Langlands.
This when they had that run of 11, 10 or 11 in a row.
They were just coming out of it, I think.
And then Souths won in 67, 68, lost to Balmain 69, 171, 71. And then Souths broke up and they left. But that's St George team.
Yeah.
With
they won
Gaznia,
77,
Rayburn,
79.
and, you know,
just
they
like
were
they-
just,
every
they
North
did.
Melbourne, yeah.
They won 10 or 11 in a row. They were that good.
Yeah.
If you look in the they won right through the 60s, back into the 50s and right through the 60s.
Yeah, but then they had that referee, who was he?
Yeah.
The bloke who had the tie with the laces.
I'll think
That's
of
why
his
they
name.
Col
won.
Pearce?
Col Pearce.
That's why they won.
Had the long shorts and the big. That's
That's
right.
it.
Col Pearce. Yeah.
Anyway,
So were you a big kid? Like, so were you big in stature, or you grew later on, or and what position did you play when you first started
I
out?
was fairly tall, nothing crazy or anything like that. I don't think I was all that big. I was pretty lean.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I wasn't big.
And you're always on the wing, or you were a ball player? In like,
I was-
because Spud talks about he's been in it before, and he was a 5'8".
5'8".
Yeah. So were
Can't
you?
imagine
And talks it up as well. He does, doesn't he?
it was fun.
Had all
wasn't
the
it?
skills.
Did he have a kicking game, Spud?
He had a kicking
Oh,
game.
yeah,
He had everything.
the passing game.
Passing game, both sides.
He'll tell you. Yeah. But he was good. So he
So
also
when-
told us about athletics. Were you athletic at all?
Yeah, I did some sprinting. I did beach sprinting as well. I was a nipper for a long while.
Yeah.
That was great. I used to love doing that.
Hang on, Guru. You're living in Liverpool. Where are you doing nippers?
There was a guy called Eric Topper. He had the I don't know if you remember the Topper boys. They played.
Yes.
One of them
Yes.
played Cronulla.
Yes.
Yep. The halfback, wouldn't he?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. My parents went overseas for 3 months, and I got billeted by them. Became great friends of the family.
And that was down
with
Cronulla
them.
way?
And that was Cronulla, so
Yeah.
I got involved
Hang down
in
the
that.
beach.
Yeah, it was
Then you went, how
fantastic.
fucking good's this down the beach?
Yeah,
It was good, isn't it?
it was great.
The nippers and that.
It was,
yeah.
fan- and when
Which
my
would be
boys
cool.
were growing up, Eric and Daniel, I
Yep.
did the same thing with them because it just really
Yep.
helped what
Absolutely.
I did as well. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you go through the junior ranks, 1978. You're Parramatta Rookie of the Year.
Hang on, let's go back. When you started playing, where were you playing? In the centres, 5'8"?
Centres,
Centres, yeah. Okay,
I tried lock once, but I thought I lasted 1 minute there.
Didn't like it?
As soon as I went and packed a scrum, you got to put it in between two big asses.
Someone farted, eh?
No, they came in really close. My ears hurt.
And then you're looking at the hooker's ass, which is about that far
Yeah,
away
that's
from
not
you.
good.
That's right. And if he drops one,
Yeah,
that's
it's
right
all
up
us,
your
yeah.
fucking hooter.
You're gone. You're gone.
They fight and everything. They get real serious.
They do. They punch.
Actually, I feel like dropping one now.
Go ahead. In your record, Rip.
Yeah. So did you want to play for St George? Was that your end goal, or you Parramatta? You thought you'd like to play for?
Yeah,
or
no, I had the thought that I would like to play for St George or whatever, but I never thought anything like that would happen.
Yeah.
Or
You just
whatever.
love playing the game as a kid.
Yeah, like playing the game. And as for Eastmount Pritchard, when we were 11, jumped over to Eastmount Pritchard and we won 6 or 7 in a row there. And
St George
Steve,
like, yeah.
Steve Vella, yeah, and then from 16, 17, 18, I thought there might have been a bit of a chance. There was people looking at us. Steve Vella and I went up at the same time to play 23s.
And so you were Rookie of the Year that year. So obviously you had some talent, and they spotted you and you were in. So
Did you feel like you were getting stronger, faster, understanding the game?
Yeah, 100%.
Must have been. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did your hair used to get in your eyes when you used to run and that? And
It
did it
did.
really because you didn't have a hairband or anything
No.
Yeah,
no.
you used to have these great locks.
I don't think
I had
anybody
wispy,
wore a
it was very
hairband.
wispy.
You would have got belted in those days wearing a fucking hairband.
Oh, yeah. Right.
and the beard. When did the beard become a signature for you? Like when did you think I'm gonna?
I think
Or it just happened?
when I started going bald, I thought I needed to grow some hair extra. I had enough on my back, but I needed more on the face.
It looks good, man. You look good.
Thanks, mate.
So your first trial game against the Sharks at Sharks Park, you were playing against, I think, is one you've told me before, one of your idols, Steve Rogers,
Yes, that's right.
and the Sorensen brothers are in that side. So
Yeah.
do you remember much about that game, or?
I remember the week leading up to it, I was shitting myself, and Terry Fernley came up to me and said, "You want to play in this particular trial match?" And I went, I said yes, but I meant no.
Great honesty,
and it was just.
And you're in the centres.
No, I was on the wing.
Right.
I was on the wing, and they beat us 18-0. Well, 18-0. We didn't score a try, but I remember I used to swap their bubblegum cards, Sludge, Steve Rogers, and the Sorrison boys, and Paul Kahn, I think it was there.
It is a daunting moment, isn't it?
Oh, 100%.
Because my first Shield game, and I looked at the Queensland side, and fucking Greg Chappell's playing, and Kepler Vessels, and Alan Border, and Jeff Thompson, and fucking Carl Rackerman, and all these guys. But I just looking at the batsman, I went off. It's like aiming up against Steve Rogers, and he's a legend, and you're fucking in awe, aren't you?
100%.
You're just in awe. It is a moment in your life where you go, wow, I'm on the same paddock as these dudes, and I've just been watching and reading about them all my life. It's a moment.
It is. And talking about bubblegum cards, have you still got any?
No.
Because Ray collects them too.
I do.
I'll show you later. Yeah.
Okay. I've got a few that were given to me.
Yeah, can I have them?
You can have
You'd
them.
have a Guru Growth card for sure.
Yeah, I'll show them later.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, and you've got a story about Steve Rogers I've heard before. You were playing, let's fast forward a bit, but you were playing against St George in a semi-final, and you scored the winning try, and Steve Rogers tackled you around the legs, and you felt sorry for him that you beat him.
I did, mate. That was in '84, and I toured with him in '82 Kangaroos, and he was just a great bloke, and got to know him, and we became friends. And then after that, leading up to when he passed, and he was just amazing. And then that was I remember my first thought was when Brett Kenny passed that ball over, and all I had to do was run in the corner, and he grabbed me around the legs, and the first thing I remember was I turned around and I saw his head go around my legs like that, and I said sorry to him
For scoring.
But it was just he was my hero, and I thought, no,
I know, it's
strange place.
Because he hadn't played in the grand final, had he? And
No.
So the semi-final, they won that. Well, St George had the upper hand in that game too, did they?
Yeah, they were beating us. They had the ascendancy all game, actually. It was probably one of the best games I've ever played in. It was just really tough and had everything in it.
Yeah.
And it was low scoring. I think we won 8-7 in the end. But they had us down, and then we got a couple of penalties going up the field, and then a couple of taps, and then we scored in the corner.
When your heroes hanging around you. I got Doug Walters out in a state trial, the coming into my first season, and these state trials you want to stamp and try and get picked. And when he nicked the ball, I went, "Ow!" I didn't know whether to this is my hero. And he nicked the ball, and the umpire gave him out, and I thought, oh, just like you, I wanted to say sorry to him. Sorry, Doug. Like, fuck, I had a fucking poster on my wall, and no doubt you had one of Steve Rogers. It's a moment, isn't it? Because you work out, you realise in your head that you've held them up there on this pedestal, but they're human like you.
Yeah, 100%.
They're just human like you. And then you're talking about having a relationship with him later.
Yep.
I got and I'm still great mates with Doug Walters, and I tell him all the time, you're still my fucking hero, man. Like, I don't think you get
See
it,
you
mate.
soon, Dougie.
I'm just happy. Yeah, I'm just happy sitting here with you. Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So back to your first grade debut, 1979, 3rd of March, versus Balmain Tigers at Lidcombe Oval. Do you remember the first grade debut? You remember that or not?
Who did I play
You
against?
played Balmain Tigers at Lidcombe Oval.
Go to Tigers.
79.
What year? 79?
79,
All the
yeah.
Weren't you going to join the Tigers? Was that
Leichhardt
you?
would have been.
Yeah, he was going to join the Balmain Tigers.
At the
Could
end,
you imagine that? Him and Wayne Wigham in the backs.
Wayne Wigham.
That's a blast from the past.
Dennis Bendel.
I remember Dennis Bendel.
Great centres.
Yeah, great centres.
But, so if you can't remember that game, but that first year of first grade, do you remember, did you immediately feel that, I belong here, or it took you a while to...
No, I felt I was sort of on the way.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was up and down 23s, under 23s in that period of time, and reserve grade, bits and pieces, yeah. And then it was when Jack came that I cemented a spot in the first grade there.
was there a young, like was Sterlo there and Brett Kenny, were they, and the young crew sort of coming up?
Yeah, they were
with
coming
you?
through.
Yeah.
I didn't really know them at that stage. It was
Yeah.
sort of up and down.
Yeah.
Did Jack Gibson all get them all fur jackets?
Yeah, I love Jack's fur coats.
Were they all walking around? You guys were all like a bit of lairs, weren't you? Because you were so good.
We thought he was a bit of a lair with all those jackets.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It was just him, hey?
What
Yeah,
was he like as a coach?
He was fantastic. There was nothing brilliant about him in the sense he was very simple. The game is simple, and he touched on that all the time. But when you consider the season in '81, we won our first premiership. The first training session, pre-season training session, was the same as the last training session before the grand final.
Oh, wow.
Nothing was changed, and he really made that a point.
That's key, isn't it?
It was just, it's the same game. It's the same game. There's going to be a few more people there, and it's got a label on it saying it's a grand final, but it's the same game. You've got to do the same things we did in the first game as you did do in this game. And it was so, well, at halftime we were getting beat. We were waiting for this great speech, and he came in, he said, I'll leave you guys to it. He walked out.
Yeah.
And that was perfect because we all started talking to each other, and it all worked, you know.
Yeah,
He didn't seem to be a loud, yelling...
No, never did.
No.
Never did. If he came over quietly to you, you knew you were in trouble. And he'd be that far away from your face. And
Can I just ask you two quick things? You were just saying, it's got to be the same. It's like me when I play bass guitar. When I played at Unity Hall, it's the same as Campbelltown, like RSL. You just keep it the same. You just play it really tight.
Excellent.
You know what I mean? It doesn't matter where you play.
That's it.
But I just want to ask you about the Balmain Tigers, and we'd have a lot of followers who have been interested. What happened there? So you were going to go there, you got approached. How did that happen?
I went to Wayne Pearce's testimonial, and Gary Jack was there, and I sat at another table, and I ended up going over to him at the end of the night, and we were talking. And
Did he want some money?
Sorry, I asked him for money back.
Oh, Jimmy Jack, what a legend.
Jimmy's a great bloke.
Go on.
And I'd been doing a little bit of training, and I felt pretty good. My knee was okay because I hadn't played for a couple of years. And he said, "Why don't you? Alan Jones is coming to Balmain. Why don't you come over to Balmain?" And I had a couple of beers, and I said, "Yeah, I'll think about that." And then I got a phone call from Alan Jones saying, "I've heard you might be interested in blah blah blah."
Wow.
So I did. It lasted for about 2 months.
Yeah.
He brought me over to Merv Fuse's.
That's a long time. No, serious.
Well,
No, Merv Cross.
Yeah, Merv. He took me over to Merv. He said, "Well, get your knee checked out."
Yep.
Went over to Merv, and Alan and Merv were there. He said, "Yeah, we can fix that because it was bent like that." Said, "Yeah, we can get that fixed." Blah blah blah. So I started training, and it lasted for 2 weeks. He said, "Just get into the swimming pool." That Les Hobbs was the trainer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, I'll meet you at the swimming pool, and you just swim, just keep swimming. And I think there's a second lap in.
But lucky you went to Nippers. When you went to Nippers, that really held you in good stead.
Helped you all
Well, I wasn't a great swimmer in any
You
stretch
just
of
nipped
imagination.
around.
But I remember getting tired, and I think, why am I doing this? So I pulled out. I just said, no, I can't do it.
Talking about coaches, John Monie, how did he compare to Jack Gibson and different styles? Or
Yeah, 100%. Completely different. Yeah, John was very tactical, and where Gibbo wasn't. Gibbo had some great little moves and stuff like that, but it was all about getting in your head and how simple the game is and stuff, you know.
What about that move?
The wedge.
The wedge.
Yeah.
How good was the wedge?
Yeah.
And Higgs was at the front. He'd go, I'll take one for the team, wouldn't he? Really?
Anyone in the front there was going to take 25 for the team.
How tough was he?
Higgs.
Yeah.
Mate, he was
Led by the head.
Had no pain. Yeah.
Every time he ran the ball, man. Like, unbelievable. Sorry, Dawes, we cut you.
sorry.
Just
No,
bringing back
it's
great
really
memories.
No, with that great Parramatta side.
No, we're talking about Monie, but weren't we? Monie,
Yeah,
That's it,
Monie,
man.
Monie.
Because Junior liked him, and he keeps doing the song every night, going,
Monie,
Monie,
Monie, Monie. He does. He loves it.
Monie,
Yeah, he loves
Monie,
it, loves it.
come now sing John
John
Monie.
Monie, Monie, Monie.
You're on fire. But yeah, so many great players in that Parramatta side. But 4 premierships, 81, 82, 83, 86, and runners up in 84. I think that was against my side, the Dogs, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
But
They cheated that day.
Okay, tell us what happened.
Yeah, go on. What's
Well,
happening?
they were all on drugs. steroids.
Yeah.
And they had cement in their
Yes. I
shoulder
heard about
pads.
that. Yep.
Fix your face with.
I'm going fair dinkum. You're jagging me.
They had. I remember getting hit by Stu Folkes one. He could hit.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I remember feeling this.
But it was the extra 20%.
Something.
No, I
something
think
happened.
it's little particles of the cement dropping out of his
I remember I've
jumper.
asked you that before at a gig with the Gurus, and I said to you, who's the hardest hitter? And you said Steve Folkes, and you said you were going down the sideline.
Yeah.
And Steve Folkes came across you and covered a fence, and he got you right in the
He
ribs. and broke
launched
your rib or something.
himself. Yeah, he left the ground and launched, and he went right underneath there, busted a couple of my ribs. I was gone for about. 12,
Are they
12
allowed to
weeks.
do that?
That's what I thought.
He was.
I said the same.
He was a tough rooster, but him
Oh,
wasn't
mate,
he,
yeah,
Steve
he was
Folkes, real tough.
Uncompromising.
Yeah,
just-
absolutely.
So that first premiership in '81, that was Parramatta's first premiership ever, wasn't it? So that must have been, that was a huge thing for the area, and you must have felt like a rock star, I suppose.
Mate, yeah, it was going back and from the Sydney Cricket Ground in those days, and then going straight down Parramatta Road, and then at the end of Parramatta Road, there's the club there, and it was just a sea of people. It was just amazing.
Well.
And we had to be escorted into the auditorium up the top of the, and it was just going through the crowd, and everyone had to sort of move out of the way. And
It was just sardine packed and wow,
unbelievable,
what
yeah.
a great memory.
But it goes like that, doesn't it? Like something like
So
that.
quick.
So special, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So
They're
was
great memories, but
Yeah.
man, it's just fantastic.
So the first one, was that more special than the subsequent ones, or they were all special or in their own way?
Yeah, you're right, Dawes. In their own way, they had their own little sort of things. But the first one was special because it was just such a important for the area.
Yeah, because I think Jack Gibson had that classic phrase, is it ding dong, the witch is dead?
Yeah, I didn't get it at first. Everyone sort of looked at each other and, what? But yeah, afterwards when we found out what he meant.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's right. Yeah.
Dong. It's all in the word dong.
Ding dong, the wedge is it. It was like when Gal said you can turn off the porch light now when Cronulla won it.
Yes, yeah.
Because
okay.
there was something
Yeah.
about leave the lights on until we win the competition. They'd been on for a long time.
Yeah, that's why the electricity went down.
That's
there.
right. I mean, they had an electricity failure down there.
What was it? Was there a nightclub at Parramatta Leagues in those days? Because I remember when I was a young fella, you go to Kicks and then it was called Sterlo's. What was it called back in your era? Can you remember?
Gurus.
The Guru.
Yeah, it was,
And what you known to hit the dance
Guru's
floor?
haunt.
Macquarie Bar, it was called.
Macquarie
Yeah,
Bar.
just a little bar there, and they had the disco and stuff like that. But there was a couple of places in Parramatta, I can't remember them. War and Peace.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of places to
And
go.
of course, you got a free card in there being a Parramatta player. Like,
Yeah.
you're right, Guru, Sterlo.
The Bear got us in there. The Bear was, Bob O'Reilly was, he was a real local there.
What a great player he was. Another tough rooster, wasn't he?
Absolutely.
Jesus. Bob the Bear O'Reilly. Imagine packing in the front row looking at him. And you're a young bloke. You're going to pack in. Like packing in against Johnny Sattler, my hero. Imagine Sats just going, righto, son, here we go.
Good luck.
So talking of nicknames like the Bear, the Guru, how did your nickname come about? What's the background to that?
Long story short, it's when Gibbo was at the club, he organised, on Tuesday nights, he'd organise some people to come in and talk, nutritionists and stuff like that. And this particular bloke was a transcendental meditation guru, and he spoke for a half an hour, and he said, anyone that's interested after the training session, put your name down, you can come and try it out in Sydney. There was four of us put our names down, Dave Lydiard, me, Peter Wynn, and I can't remember the other guy.
Dan Jerd.
No, Stanley.
Stan Jerd.
Well, you wouldn't believe what I just
He
wrote.
looked like he
Look what I
meditated.
just
Stan.
wrote down.
Stan Jerd. Stan Jerd.
Because Peter Wynn score.
Hang on,
they-
we're going on his nickname. We'll get Peter Wynn's story in a minute.
He's excited.
I'm excited.
Yeah, where was I?
Guru, you put four names down.
Oh yeah, and so we rang this guy, and you had to give 4 gifts, or so a tea towel or something, and 4 other little gifts when you went into Sydney, and then they'd give you this mantra, this word that you say over and over again, and then you just float away, and you come back to that word, and you keep saying the word, and it's supposed to get you to that unified field level or whatever.
Transcendental.
Yes, yeah.
Floating.
And mate, it was one of the best things I've ever done. It really worked for me because I used to get pretty nervous before a game, and it just really worked for me.
Did you have a pre-match routine at all? Like,
Hang on the back of that they called you the Guru.
Sorry, enough. Yeah, from that, the Telegraph got hold of it. Said, heard you're meditating. Can we meet you at there's a ground at Greystones? Can we get you to sit in the middle of the ground, just cross your legs, look up in the sky? And they took a photo. I was on the back of the Telegraph the next day, and then I got to training the next day, and they said, "Oh, the Guru."
Yeah, what are you, a fucking guru now? Yeah, all that.
So I just stuck from that. Yeah.
And
I love it.
Widow, you know how to get to the bottom of a story, eh?
But
That was
hang
very
on,
well
I've
done.
got one more question. Do you remember the word he gave you?
Yes, I do.
Do you still use that word now?
No, I don't. I got ringing in my ear now, so that's the thing that I can only hear. I got a ring.
From all the gigs.
Yeah, I don't know
what was
it
the
is.
word he told you?
It's geez, I'm not allowed to say it. But
All right, don't
no,
tell me.
no,
No, I don't
I'll
want to
say
know.
it.
I know, tinnitus, tinnitus.
Don't. I don't want
I'd
to
feel
ruin your
good to say
mind.
it. I'd feel good to say it.
You sure?
Yes.
Go.
IEMA. 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 And you just keep saying it. IEMA.
Isn't that the...
I'm writing it down.
Yeah, go on.
IEMA.
Well, wasn't he one of the New South Wales Parliament blokes?
Yemma.
Yemma.
Morris
Morris.
Yemma.
Morris.
Right, yeah, he's close. He had a double
Morris
M.
IEMA.
Yeah, Morris.
Sorry, I'm
Yemma.
nervous.
Yeah, so did you have a pre-game ritual or were you
Yeah.
superstitious or?
Go to the toilet. No, I wasn't. I used to watch some of the other guys, what they did, but I, at one stage, packed my bag a certain way, put my undies in last or whatever.
Unreal.
Did you have boots? What about you? Make sure your studs were. See, I never lost a stud or broke a lace when I was playing. I was paranoid about a stud coming out. If I was in the middle of a spell, broke a lace. So I made sure they were right. Did you have particular boots? And
with Adidas, they'd give you the
Yep, the
spanner.
yep, yep.
in it, so make sure you're nice
Yep.
and tight.
I used to put Vaseline on the threads
No,
so that me studs wouldn't get stuck in there rusted. Fucking weirdo with that shit, me. Okay,
Jeez, I used to put Vaseline on.
yeah, all right, Ray. Cut it there.
Talking of pre-match routines, when I was doing a bit of background on you, Guru, I think I saw Eric Jr. just mention one time you had 4 beers before a game. Is that correct or not? Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, we played Canberra at Parramatta Stadium.
that's some pre-match ritual.
Yeah,
That's-
I was invited up to a box. It was part of a couple of players would go to a box before a game or whatever and just talk to them. And I had 4 beers and it relaxed me. But I tell you what, in the second half, I felt we got lapped. We were winning 20.
I was going to say the 6 tries he scored in the first half were
No,
fucking
but,
badgers.
but it had nothing to do with really.
No,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it coincided
Yeah,
because
sure.
So then you go, fuck, I'm not drinking 4 beers before any other
we
game.
got beat 42-22. 22-0 we were winning at half time. We got smacked.
should have beers at half time.
Yeah.
Who was coach?
Absolutely.
Who was coach?
John Monie.
Or not happy.
It was his
Jeez.
fault. Yeah.
Yeah, it's his fault, coach. Yeah, wrong information.
So playing with all those Parramatta legends like this, we could name so many of them, but like Brett Kenny, Sterlo, Ray Price, Steve Edge, Mick Cronin,
Mate,
is that got to be one of the best club sides of all time?
the second Raiders were pretty good.
Yeah, that's true, eh? Spot on.
Mate, it's when you say those names, I often used to, probably the most important part of for me playing was running out and seeing those guys. Made me feel so much better.
That's what it does.
But mate, the opportunities were just everywhere. You really just had to basically back up and things presented themselves, you know.
Yeah.
They were just great players and their vision was fantastic. So you just had to
Do you think Brett Kenny gets the accolades that he deserves? Because he was unbelievable, really, wasn't he?
He was probably the most naturally gifted player I've played with. Yeah,
And he's pretty good in the speaking tour too.
He
pretty
loves
good,
to
wasn't
chat.
he?
Some great stories.
Yes, some great stories. We
He
might
was
have to get in.
just silken, and it's the timing, isn't it? And
Yeah.
and running and timing the pass, and him and Sterlo.
Yeah, they just connected so well. It was just a natural connection.
His
yeah.
body swerve too, like the way he used to just like.
Steve Rogers had that too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did too.
With the
Similar type
legs.
thing. Yeah,
But he's unreal. Can I just mention these legends? Stan Jerd and Peter Wynn.
mate.
Peter Wynn had that store, and
He's still got the store, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's
Has
still
he?
got the store.
After all the changes.
yeah.
Wow. And
He's had that store for 45 years, I reckon. I've been out there. When I was playing cricket, he'd ring me up and say, come out and sign some bats and I'll pay you 150 cash or something like that in them days. I'd go, I'll be out there at Parramatta during cricket season.
fantastic.
Yeah.
But he employed Stan Jerd to be the bouncer at the shop, outside. Yeah,
scared a lot of people out.
And the person who really scared a lot of people was they had a State of Origin thing, and I took my young boy there, Todd. And we went there, and anyway, we were outside in Chris Close. They had a few of the Origin players, and Chris Close was talking to myself and Todd, and all of a sudden, everyone started piling out at Peter Wynn School. And we're going, what's happened? And then the last bloke to come out with this big smile on his face was the second rower, Les Boyd.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And what happened? He's just used the toilet, right? And everyone just went through the whole place.
Well, he had a number 2.
He had a 3.
A number 2 and a 3. How mad was he? How mad was Les Boyd?
He played against Les Boyd?
Yeah, against and with.
Because he played for West, didn't West?
Yes,
and then
West and Manly.
Manly, that's right.
I was 5 feet away from when he belted Daryl Brohman, State of Origin, the big elbow.
Yeah.
I just shook my head. I went, it was crazy.
But he's a really nice bloke off the field, wasn't he?
Yeah, just a complete opposite. You just wouldn't think, because he had a real sort of different voice too, a real high pitched type of voice.
Yeah, like a blocker thing.
Yeah, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And but he on the field was just mad.
Massive legs and arse, didn't
just
he?
a big,
very big,
big set of legs.
And really smelly when he did it.
For number 2 and 3.
Talking about West, like the dressing room at Lidcombe Oval when you're playing against the Magpies, I think you've mentioned that to me previously, and you could hear them calling out your name. We're going to smash Eric Grothe or So
that was a day out at Lidcombe Oval on Sunday afternoon. Earning a bit of money there.
Was it one of those games where you look down the roster and you think, fucking Leichhardt, round 9?
Towards the end of my career, I was picking which ones I have an injury.
But that's smart. You got smarter, didn't you?
So was that Roy Masters the coach at that stage, or was it
for the Tigers?
For the
West.
Magpies.
The Magpies. For West. Yeah, that's when they were slapping each other in the melon. And
he used to roll them up.
And Tommy was. They were punching on in the dressing room before the fucking game. How mad was that?
That was
mad. That was a tough side too, wasn't it? Really tough side.
We couldn't beat them there for about 13 years in a row. We couldn't beat them, no matter who they had in the team. Whatever, 13 years we couldn't.
They just lift 100% at Leichhardt with the home crowd. See, and they say, is the home crowd an advantage? Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
State of Origin, Ray. This is your favourite topic.
I love State of Origin.
He's the guru of State of Origin.
Two gurus in the one room. Beautiful.
Yeah. So, do you want to lead with the State of Origin stuff, or
mate? Your first game in State of Origin. What do you think, mate? About how fast and how fit and how quick everything was.
Yeah, it was another level for me. It was a definite different level. It was like you could compare it maybe to normal Premiership games at Commodore, and the State of Origin is like a Porsche or something.
Who was your coach in your first game? Can you remember? Was it Gould or was it?
First game.
Don't think it was Rodonicus.
Frank Stanton, I think.
Frank Stanton.
That's a good question. I can't remember now. Well, Terry Fernley was one of the coaches, and Frank Stanton, and Ted Glossop.
Okay.
Yeah, they all had great reputations as coaches, didn't they? All full on,
absolutely.
Full on coaches, yeah. But mate, so we've had a few people here, and they said it just goes to another level.
Well, we asked Sean Hampstead as a referee what it was like, and he just said it didn't stop for the 80 minutes, where he said first grader can be tough, fast for 20 or maybe to half time, and then it'll just drop off. But he said not in the State of Origin. So we said to him, did that make you? He said, I was run me hard out, didn't he? He said, just had to stay up with the play, and it was really, really a shock to him.
Mate, even the first game I played was at Lang Park too, and they had these cannons. I didn't know these cannons were here. First of all, when we leave the dressing room, you got to walk through the bar underneath the grandstand.
Did you have 4 beers quickly before you went on? You're like,
when we're walking out, the security guard took us through this bar, and they all had to separate these people, and they were giving it to us as we're walking through the bar, and I'm like, what? And they're going, yeah, and all the language, and then from there we went into the tunnel and went out, and I remember they scored the first try, and these cannons went off. I didn't know they were there, and I went, what? And it was that audible that it crackled my ears.
Yeah.
It deafened me, and the crowd was doing the same too. They were that loud. I thought, fuck, what?
Everyone says that.
What am I doing here?
Yeah.
We've mentioned Chris Close before too, Ray, and you've got a story. He gave you a bit of a slapped you around.
He bitch slapped me, yeah.
I was so upset when I seen that. Like I didn't know you then. I was just absolutely out of my chair, and I was going to kick the TV in. And mate, I just could not handle him. Like I hated him ever since.
Bit of a grub, you reckon?
Yeah, but he was again. He's a really nice bloke.
Yeah, great
big,
bloke.
strong sucker, but no.
And he got away with it.
Hang on, let Guru tell the story.
I just made a covering tackle, and he tried to get me off the tackle quickly, and I had hair in those days, so he grabbed the hair in the end, and he's gone bang.
That's what happened.
Yeah. And,
so did you feel like getting up, or you thought?
No. I thought if you're that serious, you can have it. I was sort of half knocked out and a bit dazed, and when he belted me across the mouth, I felt my mouth sort of thicken up, and I didn't know where I was. But when I look at it, I think, they just loved it. For me, that was the difference between. For the first few years.
Us and them. They were brutal, weren't they?
So angry.
Yeah. Well, mate, they'd felt like they'd been put down, and Queensland Rugby League, and if you wanted to play in first grade, you had to come here. And then their early players here played for New South Wales, didn't they?
Yep.
So when it went State of Origin, they must have gone, right, this is our turn and our chance. And it's been... since 1980 was the first game?
80
was the first game,
80, yeah. 80?
1980.
Was that one game and then the next 81 was
for the next 3 years it was one game?
Yeah, 81 was one game as well.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And 82, I think.
82 was the first three.
Oh, was it?
As rugby league...
Well done, mate.
Tragics. Oh, mate, I love the State of Origin.
I love the State of Origin.
Like you say, Gary, the level it's played at. Is it a higher level than Test match rugby league?
It's different. It's a bit different because from when you're talking about the Queensland, where it come from, where that
hatred and anger,
that sort of thing. It's come from a different place.
Yeah.
Where the Test footy is again a different level. Again, it's big and hard and strong and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's hard to work out what the difference is, but there's a difference there.
Yep.
So you played 9 State of Origins between 81 and 86, and a few years ago you were named in the State of Origin the New South Wales greatest team of all time.
I can't believe that. I really can't. When I saw my name there.
There he is, Mr. Humble.
No,
Come on,
honestly.
Guru.
Honestly.
Who else is in that side? Because I can't, off the top of my head.
Some great players. They've played 30, some of them played 30 games. And
like the Laurie Dailies, I suppose, or were they in there? Or I'm not sure.
I thought Andrew Eddinghausen should have got one of the wingers, and Rod Wishart, he played 22, 23 games or whatever.
Yeah, but you're the guru, mate.
And I didn't like his running style that much.
Rod Wishart, big set of legs.
Yeah, he was a good player, but I didn't.
No, that completely surprised me. I thought, where'd that come from? I was a little bit embarrassed actually, but in the end, when you look at it and think about it, I wish I was captain. You know? Well, I should have been captain.
We had a special episode last week where we spoke to Mike Whitney about him getting his new award of being a life member of New South Wales, and he was
no. Cricket Hall of Fame, New South Wales Cricket Hall of Fame.
I was already a life member.
I'm a bit nervous.
I was already a life member.
I'm a bit nervous. Yeah, as I introduce you, and and you kind of said something similar, didn't you? Really?
I'm on a list now with Don Bradman and all these people.
Good stuff.
And I just can't. I find it hard to accept.
Yeah, okay.
And Doug Walters is on that list, and Alan Davidson and Richie Benno and Victor Trumper, and they're on this list, and I'm on that list now with John Dyson, and he looked at me on the day, which was supposed to say, how the fuck do you get on a list with Don Bradman? Like, I'm finding it hard to absorb, Guru, like you just said.
Yep.
It's hard to absorb. You know, those people are your heroes.
But did you want to be captain like Guru wanted to be captain? But Dorsey, it's incredible, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
How we were talking about that. The same reaction.
Yep.
Two games at the most. I played okay, I thought, in State of Origin. 81 was the first one. I thought I played okay before I got bitch slapped. And then there was a game in the mud at Sydney Cricket Ground where I thought it was a tight game.
Did you ever say to Choppy Close, you arsehole, you bitch slapped me on the
No, we met a couple of years later at the Rothmans Medal night And he come over and he said, mate, and there's a lot of shit. I'm getting a lot of shit for this. I apologise, blah, blah, blah. I said, mate, no worries. He's the greatest bloke in the world. He's a great bloke.
Yeah, and the crowd just needed to see you have a little hug and where everything was good. Yeah.
Another iconic moment in your career is that grand final try against the Bulldogs where you bump off 1,000 people and you run, I don't know, was it 75 metres or I don't know how long it was, but it's stuck in my mind as a kid.
I'm
in
saying
the 80s.
85 metres.
Yeah.
75 out of 10.
I kicked over the top and
and I suppose a lot of people ask you about it, so you probably, but it's for me as a kid into the 80s, it's just one of those moments when I think rugby league, I think that try.
Okay. Well, thank you, mate. I've got to correct you, and I don't mean to embarrass you, but it was a semi-final. It wasn't a grand final.
Oh, okay, really?
It was I think a major semi-final.
Okay.
It was a high-scoring game. It was 38. We ended up winning 38 to 28 or something. It was just one of those things that happened. It all opened up.
Yeah.
No defence that day.
Yeah, wow.
He beats 13 blokes and there's only 13 on the field. Let me ask you about this. When people tried to tackle you, you had something going on with your hips where you could, I don't know what you did, and the timing was always perfect. It's like you could bump them off at full speed and keep going.
Yeah, I never really analysed any of it until when I retired and I saw some of the footage. My father had recorded some VHS stuff of the games and stuff, and I never thought about it anyway, or tried to analyse it or trained that way or whatever. It was when I retired. I look back and I think, there was a bit of a strange. It was all just to get away from the tackler. It was just some sort of.
Because sometimes, where'd you tuck the ball, right or left?
It depends what side I was on.
And you sort of almost had a forearm.
It was just a natural thing to just get away from me. Yeah. So that was just all natural. You never really thought about that. It just happened. I never analysed any of that. That was just afterwards when I looked at it.
But that try, Guru, you actually bitch slapped two dudes on the way, beating them. Cop that! And then ran away. I can't read your writing.
Yeah, I remember Whit saying to me, like, you rehearsed at my place with two sports, and then they said, we've got Guru doing that try, and you just weren't. Remember, you were saying he was just like.
When you left that night, and we had some highlights up there, and you couldn't look at him.
No,
I know, and I said to the boys, mate, I took great interest in Guru not watching himself on the screen. I don't find it hard to watch myself. No, I sort of do. I do. And I never Google anything unless someone sends me things, says, have you seen this, of you playing and stuff like that. It's
because of his hips. He doesn't want to see his hips.
Is it because you haven't got a lot of ego? I mean, what is it?
No, look, I can sit down and watch it by myself. I can sit down and look at it a bit more comfortably. But when there's other people watching and there's someone talking about it, it gets a little bit too much.
I know, you were just tuning your guitar that night as we were watching you beat
I'd already tuned
13 and then you beat the last two as well, who got up and chased around and you beat them. You beat 15.
Does it seem like when you watch that, does it seem like it's someone else? Like it's so long? Do you feel like...
sort of. Yeah,
like you're watching someone else do it?
Yeah, it does. It feels a bit unreal.
Yeah, and you too, Whit?
Yeah.
I feel a bit like that now. Yeah. Do you look back on your career? Because after getting into the Hall of Fame, when they rang me up and I started crying on the phone, you start thinking about your career.
Yeah.
And it's a bit surreal to me that I've been able to do all this shit and play against these guys and play with these people. It is like another life ago, isn't it?
It is.
Do you feel like that?
It feels separated from what you... Yeah, you feel separated from
Yeah, quite surreal.